I'm Caitlin Sherman. I am the Farmers Market Manager of the South Lansing Farmers Market. It's through a nonprofit called the South Lansing Community Development Association. This is the 7th year of the Farmers Market. Our nonprofit has been around over 10 years. And so it's something that we created because we wanted to increase the access in South Lansing for people to have fruits and vegetables in their community. We had done some research in the South Lansing area to see that it is a designated food desert area, meaning that there is not a lot of grocery stores that people can take a bus to, walk to, or drive to. Farmers markets are more popular of a thing. I think people care more about having local food. I think EBT, that we're able to take food stamps, and the Double Up Food Buck program has increased a lot of access for people to come use farmers markets. About 25 vendors on average. We keep a 75% food to 25% craft ratio. They all have a good sense of community, but each one is different. And I think that surprisingly, when a market is in a neighborhood, sort of like we are, versus a busier street, it does better. I think this is a walkable neighborhood. People ride their bikes a lot to this market in particular. And I think that that's a good thing. Yeah, so that gives it a really good sense of community. And that's what we think is best for people can meet their actual farmer. You can't do that in any other store that you go to, but here you can talk specifically to the person who grew your food or baked your bread. Double Up Food Bucks is a fairly new governmental subsidized program that will double your money in conjunction with your EBT card. So it's every market you can spend up to $20 on your EBT card. You will get $20 in a silver coin that's just for fruits and vegetables. We run a survey each market, and at the beginning of the year we picked 4 or 5 questions that we rotate between. And people answer the question with a dot sticker, and it will ask questions like, why did you come to the market? Has this farmer's market improved your access to fresh fruits and vegetables? What would you like to see more of in the future? And that sort of thing. Growing a sense of community is one of our mission statements for the nonprofit also. We do have a lot of green spaces already. We have a lot of parks in South Lansing. So to improve that aspect of green spaces with community gardens and bringing a farmer's market to the area.
I am the Hoop House and Garden Coordinator with South Lansing Community Development Association. I'm also an AmeriCorps member. A hoop house is kind of like a greenhouse, except it's not heated through electricity and it's not made out of glass. So it's heated with passive solar, it's covered in plastic, and we grow all year round in it. We donate all of the produce that we grow to a few different places, but mostly this summer we've been donating to Summer Place Townhomes, which is a housing complex where they have mostly refugee families living there. So Radical Health spawned out of me and a couple other AmeriCorps members really wanting to dig in and help people do nutrition education. So what we wanted to do is go beyond just telling folks what they hear all the time, eating their fruits, to eat their fruits and vegetables. And we wanted to look closer at the food system and what makes it so hard for people to have a healthy diet. So with Radical Health, it was to go more in depth into the food system and also to offer people a place for support so that they can make these lifestyle changes, because it's really hard to make them on your own. The first one was called The Science of Addicting Foods. So we showed a short video all about, how much money goes into the processed food industry and what really makes us crave those products and what makes it so hard for us to stop eating them. And then we moved into talking more on the solution side of things. So we wanted to talk to folks about growing your own food, shopping at farmers markets, how that can be accessible to folks who they might not think have access to it. We did collect data. The one question that we have to ask for our AmeriCorps program that helps us kind of gauge if what we're doing is successful is, will you eat healthier because of what you learned? And, overwhelming majority of people said yes. When we want everyone to be learning together, we always said, no one knows everything, but together we know a lot.
So my name is Chris Klein. I am the Outreach and Operations Coordinator at South Lansing Community Development Association. There's basically 2 main components to a food desert, and that's going to be access and income. So low income is a big indicator. Then also the access component of it is kind of the distance to finding food, fruits and vegetables as well, and then also how folks can get there. So if they, car ownership is one of the factors that they look at. and it is based off of census tracts. So the farm market does fill a little bit of that gap as far as like access to fresh and local produce. The research that we focused on is kind of seeing the shopping habits of folks in the area, and also trying to see what is really available. We went to those places and actually did like a short survey of them and see what kind of food they offer and how accessible it is if it's near like a bus line. And we found that a lot of those places that claim to be markets really only have in the way of fruits and vegetables would be limes and lemons was a big thing, and those are just mostly drink garnishes. Yeah, that's kind of the data collection we've done. We've looked through food desert data, we've looked through census data to try to get more of a grasp of what the income is, what kind of places people actually shop at currently to see how far they travel, the ways in which people can, what would make it easier for them to access food, what kind of ideas that they have. We try to do a lot of community-driven things, so we don't like to throw the ideas at folks. We want to hear the ideas and try to help facilitate that change. There is definitely cultural differences, and that's a great thing about Lansing. We have the largest refugee population in all of the state, so a lot of times there's tons of diversity in South Lansing, and it's excellent. But yeah, for folks that they might not be used to a certain culture, and it was very interesting to see those were the places that were actually serving the most fresh fruits and vegetables in the neighborhoods, and so there are those places have vegetables available, but they might be a little bit different. They might be more tailored to their cuisine. Yeah, it's just a cultural barrier that can be broken easily. And another component of our programming is community gardens. So we have farmers market that serves people. They can come in and pick up their produce, and then we also have gardens for folks that would want to grow their own produce. So currently we have I think 4 or 5 community gardens, and a lot of the gardeners there are refugees. Education is a huge part of that as well. So we try to educate folks on whether it be just basic gardening skills, or looking at why is community garden, why are they even a thing, or why is a farmer's market a thing? It's more than just the activity of eating the fruits and vegetables that you're growing. You're getting outside, you're being active that way as well. So it's a lot of different factors. A lot of the data that we collect, a lot of it's just having folks express what their needs are or what their ideas are. And we try to collect that. We make a lot of different word clouds and things like that. So it's really cool to kind of have people express themselves that way. And it's easy to relate when you have little snippets of information or quotes from folks, or several people are talking about a certain thing, to kind of get that information. But we do collect data and use other types of data. So we have ESRI data that we use. We use the USDA food desert data, and we kind of look through those to see if there's certain areas that we should be targeting folks and asking them, does this problem really exist? Because even if you look at the hard statistics, sometimes those areas it's not necessarily a problem. They wouldn't consider themselves a food desert. Yeah, the big thing about all our different programs, it might seem kind of separate in a way, but like I was saying, they all kind of touch on a different needs. So you have gardens to help people garden on their own. You have education to help them do that or to help eat healthier. You have food donations for those folks that can't grow their own produce. Same thing with the farmers market. And then all is like a place making. So you have different activities going on. So it's really a big community building. On the outside, we look very focused at food and nutrition, and we are. But our base, our mission is just to kind of get folks involved in their community, and food's been a great way to do that.